You know they came with some heat when you see me in this dumb-ass pose. That's right, people. I kept expectations kind of low, but man, they really showed up with this roadmap video. I'm not gonna lie to you though. For the first like 20 minutes, it was like interesting, and I was like, this is more of the expected stuff. It was kind of a snooze, but then oh my god, the second half just went fucking off. And by off, I primarily mean that they just kind of covered everything that I wanted to already be covered. I actually had recorded like twice before this video came out, like in this past week, of videos of changes I would like to see, or like things that I think are like small pain points, like save data, and you know, I think a hot topic right now has been like character balance. But yeah, they kind of addressed everything, maybe not in full detail, and we won't exactly see how all these changes pan out, but let's just get into it. So first up, they showed off Serenial a bit, and we should see her videos up in at least the next couple of days. And most people were correct, including myself, that the new gear set seemed to reflect her new playstyle of wanting to break enemies down, or breaking them down a lot easier. So we'll see how she ends up playing out with those videos in the next couple of days. And unfortunately, we also got some bad news with Serenial. Herself and her partner Pekko are going to be our first true limited unit, so they won't be added into the standard pool, and anything involving them in the shops will leave once their banners end. I don't know really why they decided this for her specifically, as she isn't really themed around, I don't know, any holiday specifically. They did give her this like Christmas lobby screen though, so I guess because it's Christmas time, they're considering her like the Christmas character, I guess. But yeah, she will be our first true limited. So if you want her, make sure you get her when the banner is up, because who knows when we will see her again. Next, we've got spectral cubes that are being added. I didn't really want to go over this, but it's somewhat important, I think. Mostly it's only going to affect the whales, which is when you pull a max rarity character at max dupes, you will now get a cube as well. And this cube is going to be able to be exchanged for various items, and primarily it's going to be able to be exchanged for other duplicates of characters that were in the launch pool. So for anybody that maybe pulled like a million Orleas, but they're still missing some duplicates on whatever other characters, they have a maxed Orlea and like E0 Rin, then now you can go ahead and go get some Rin dupes with these cubes now instead. And they said that they will be adding other characters down the road, so if you want other characters, you know, just expect those down the road and look forward to that. And then the new characters, god damn it, they look pretty good. Unfortunately, no husbandos, so it is all women, it is all waifus down the road for the foreseeable next few months. So first, after Serenial, we will finally get Narja, who will be here on January 14th. People might have seen her in a lot of the promo videos before the game came out, and she used to be featured on the website as well. She might still be, I'm not sure, but yeah, she wasn't available in the launch pool, but yeah, she's finally going to be coming. And after Narja, the one that I'm really looking forward to, because she looks really fucking cool, is 9. She looks sick, and I think that her lobby screen is gonna make the Gooners go a little nutty. No pun intended, but she looks cool. I love anybody swinging around a big-ass sword, you know, all gut style. But yeah, after 9, then it will be Tifera? I don't know how you say her name, but she'll be out on February 25th. So these will all be the season, or what should be the season 2 characters. So that would be Narja, 9, and Tifera. And they showed off more season 2 info, namely enemies and the story and setting. But the only thing I wanted to point out here was Colossus, who will be apparently the first boss to have destructible parts. So looking forward to that fight next season for sure. And real quick on the roadmap image, it shows Arena in season 2, which is a minor thing I wanted to skip, but this is just an event that will be permanent once the season ends. This is not some new introduced PvP mode. And then mentioned previously, I kind of forget where it was. I think it was like in the Q&A in the last Korean stream. But we'll be getting the Spiral Tower of Screams in January, which is going to be our tower mode, where it seems you'll be challenging it in 5 floor or 5 wave increments up to floor 150. And seems like its rewards will reset every season. So just a bit more content there, a bit more rewards, and something else to kind of build around that isn't going to necessarily be kill everything as fast as possible. You're going to be a little more free in what you can bring around in here. And also mentioned it previously, this also seems to be where they're going to be rolling out the system where you're going to be able to sync up characters somehow temporarily to run in different modes and try them out at max values or max potential, whatever, max level, before you invest into them, as well as putting some value into the friend system, which is a little surprising. But yeah, you'll be able to borrow setups from your list only in simulations, and it'll be like per friend. And you've seen friend systems before. You get to borrow from one person each on your friends list once every day. But yeah, only simulations there. So a little lame there, but it is cool that we are going to get at least some interaction there and a little people show off their character builds and whatnot. And this is where it starts to fucking pick up, all right? So I think this is supposed to be in season 2, and that is the Zero system rework. And that is going to be reworking the skill tree, or like the skill stuff we get. I don't even know what it's called in game, but where you spend your currency for the first time in the season before it resets every season. And, getting all the stat boosts and whatever. I think it gives like boosted epiphany chances, gives you the shop, and it gives you like that divine intervention at the start of every run. Or divine representative, sorry. There's a lot of divine blah, blah, blahs. So yeah, divine representative. But these are going to be reworked, which is going to include increased rare unidentified area chance, which we might already have, but that's going to be included. More divine representative choices. And again, that is going to be that Zero system at the start of every run, where most people are trying to reroll that for double removals. Then we have increased divine epiphany rate, very good there, as well as reapplying epiphanies to cards that already had an epiphany, and selectively duping cards after beating a boss. Wow, just those last two right there, huge changes and huge upgrades to look forward to there. Being able to reroll epiphanies that you just got screwed on because you only get 3 choices. There's a bunch of generics, and trying to get a save data with a character that needs 3 very specific epiphanies together really sucks ass when you whiff on that. So cool that we will be able to get some option to at least be able to reapply those. And selectively duping cards after beating a boss, I was like legitimately like fucking fist pumping when they started fucking talking about this shit. Anything improving save data is like huge, as I'm sure some people have been feeling the burn, especially with Great Rift. Because Great Rift is kind of mega ass because you have to farm these like insane saves. It's part of why I haven't really been putting out videos in like the past week or so. I've literally been like nose to the grindstone, at least a few runs every day, some like all day, of just running to get some decent saves and pretty much having no luck. And the Zero system changes don't end there. We're also going to be getting unique codexes. These will be new variants that will probably be offered in your 3 choices when you create a new codex, with fixed level design and special objectives. And I think the idea of these is mostly to streamline the process of creating a save, so you'll eventually randomly get these unique codexes. And the example they said was like getting a codex that has like 5 question marks in a row. So yeah, that's definitely something cool and something I'll be looking forward to. Obviously that's like doesn't embrace the randomness, but I think it helps embrace building save data, hopefully at least. And then we've got some news that is exciting. I mean, it's all entirely exciting for me, but I know for a lot of people that this is going to be a little bit of a sore spot, and we'll see more details as they come season 2 at least. But they say that at the start of every season, they're going to be doing balance changes that will happen across the board. So we already knew that we were going to have like changing out different like common cards and whatnot for every season. I think namely from season 1 to season 2, that's basically just going to be like the forbidden cards. But they'll also be doing balance changes and some number tweaks to common cards, specifically mostly common cards that are not really used whatsoever. So that's really cool. They're going to be buffing the heals, maybe just the heal percents for every controller that isn't Mika, which is really funny because, Mika's insanely strong, and she's by far like the best healer just because she can constantly put out heals and they're all like pretty solid. And then we should see the expected, or what was at least previously expected, the aforementioned changes to Yuki, like giving her a single target to build or epiphanies to her cards, which I thought they just entirely scrapped because they didn't mention it whatsoever, but they mentioned it here. So yeah, those are still coming. definitely looking forward to that. And then partner passive buffs, which they didn't really give anything else on that, but yeah, they brought it up before that partners are weird right now. In most scenarios, 3-star partners are better than everything else. So yeah, they're going to be buffing partners there. And then this one is, I think, the sore spot, which is changes to Cassius and Tressa, which they state is due to unintended interactions, primarily in generating an insane amount of cards and extending the playtime of a fight. You know, like 000. I did it plenty of times in the Great Rift, where, you know, you get Tressa, you play a bunch of daggers, and then Cassius generates a bunch of cards, and you can just loop your turn for quite a long time. I think they're also hitting Tressa specifically because she is insanely strong and insanely busted, and how she is currently is not really healthy for the future of the game. They didn't mention Mei Lin at all, so I mean, Mei Lin havers, you know, rejoice there. I'm surprised they didn't mention Mei Lin, but yeah, it looks like it's just going to be Cassius and Tressa. But they do say Tressa will still be one of the game's strongest DPS, and Cassius will be buffed with the adjustments. And that since they're being changed in such a drastic way, you will be able to reset these characters, getting all of your resources back. And you'll get some items that will let you make some limited save data adjustments to help compensate for all of the time burned, you know, building and grinding out these characters as well. So yeah, for some, sad to see potentially the end of an era, but also I think that I wanted to actually, I ended up scrapping the video yesterday because I was like, you know, they'll probably just address this stuff in the roadmap, which thankfully they did. And that is that originally I didn't want them to touch any of the characters because I was like, you know, it sets a bad precedent, and I think it's really cool that people have these free-to-play options that are going to be, you know, either meta relevant or just really strong in general. But I do think currently, unless they start power creeping and kind of releasing DPS characters at the level that Mei Lin is at, overall they're just bad for the health of the game, you know, just because they are so insanely strong. It makes any future character really unexciting and really no reason to shoot for them. Like previously now, Yuki and Chizuru, I couldn't remember her name. Yuki and Chizuru, they're both like neat and interesting, but realistically I think you should only really have pulled for them. Oh, and Haru, sorry, I forgot about Haru. You really should only have pulled for them if you really like the characters, because genuinely you don't need them and they're not better than options we already had, which I think is really cool. But obviously it usually doesn't work out in a gacha setting, especially when it comes into the competitive modes like Great Rift, where it's pretty whack or lame to just see the same teams being used repeatedly. Like phase 1 is pretty much all melee. You could use other things. Phase 1's a little more flexible, but it's pretty much you're gonna see nothing but Mei Lin. And then phase 2, I'd have to check through all the rankings. I don't think you'll see many or any teams at all that were not just Tressa, Cassius, and Mika. So I'm personally all for these changes. Let me know what you guys think of those changes in the comments. I wanna gauge and just see how people feel about Tressa and Cassius getting hit specifically. All right, and away from the gloom and doom, we got some previews into Season 3 as well, and these ones were also really exciting. So in Season 3, we'll be getting 2 new modes that will be introduced, and those are going to be Chaos Assault and Purification Protocol. And Chaos Assault is another thing that I really wanted to talk about yesterday, which is embracing the roguelite aspect of the game. And luckily, this is going to be our first, or our true roguelike mode, where save data will not be saved. And the used card restriction we have in combat right now is going to be lifted. So just real quick, cards you play in a single turn cannot be recycled or reshuffled into the deck and then used again, except for move epiphanies, which we won't get into. But essentially, once a card is used, it's gone for the rest of that turn. But that restriction will be lifted in this new mode, so you'll be able to, you know, potentially infinitely loop your deck as many times as you want. It'll start in a more dangerous area than current chaoses that start us out in the exterior, and comes with new deck building elements, and overall it should be more difficult. This is also where they're going to be introducing items that will potentially allow us to make some changes to existing save data, so it also will have like in-game benefit to run this mode. And it all looked and sounded great. It's exactly what I wanted, which was the game embracing its roguelike aspect, and especially in the endgame area, where something like just making the interior boss more annoying, like in difficulties 9 through 11 in Lab 0, made it more difficult, but just at the end, the rest of the run was pretty much just the same, and it was a little more punishing to pick your characters more freely because you had to end up running into that interior boss at the end, and you need to be able to put out enough damage in like a few turns. So I'm super Omega excited for that, and I think a lot of like card game players in general or deck builder players in general are going to really love when this mode comes out, because that is just like the game-ass game, you know, of playing a deck building roguelike. So yeah, that'll be really cool. But the other mode is going to be Purification Protocol, where we're going to have 3 teams of characters to do consecutive battles where stress will carry over. So kind of like content we have now. So like think like simulation, but now you're going to have like longer simulation that stress now carries over. So now we're going to have content or save data content where stress actually matters, where it only really matters now currently in Chaos. So yeah, just know by Season 3, which is quite a ways away, but by Season 3, you'll want to have 3 teams. And the last teaser for Season 3 is Corrupt. And yeah, they just kept hitting us with heat. So this one is also a really cool change, Corruption. This will be new upgrades for select characters that will be rolled out over time, looking like it'll be starting with Hugo and or Leia. This will create new build paths, new breakdown images, dialogue, and designs. I think the idea is to buff weaker characters or give characters who only have certain good builds to offer them more options. And I think them picking Hugo was actually like a pretty good choice, just because the amount of posts I've seen on Reddit complaining about getting an epiphany for his starting upgrade card, because it opens up with initiation, and a lot of the epiphanies don't have initiation, and if you don't open up with that card, then he's kind of booty. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see that stuff. But yeah, it seems to be a cool new way to buff up characters or make some characters a little more relevant. And I think that about wraps up all the stuff I wanted to cover in the roadmap video. But yeah, if you want to see all the smaller but potentially important changes yourself, I'd highly recommend giving it a watch through. It was definitely exciting for me to watch. And that's it for that. For everybody that made it this far, thank you for watching. And for anybody wondering, you know, why I hadn't put out a video in like the past week or so, I already went over it. But yeah, I was trying to farm and save data so I could do some great riff, or do a great riff video, and it just didn't go too hot there. Also, holidays, getting ready for moving. And for Basin, I just genuinely forgot. Basin is not what I get excited for when I boot up the game, so I just do not care about it. And I think it's a little, I'd say awkward right now for me to be like 4-star clears when the 4 stars are actually like some of the best characters in the game. So yeah, I think I will, I'll put those out, those 4-star clears or whatever clears I want to do again, when it's a little more enticing for me. Probably next season. Yeah. I wanted to do a follow video for Chizuru as well, but again, just trying to get that save data for Great Rift has been Omega ass. That's why I wanted to make a video bitching and moaning about it. But luckily we've got some changes coming somewhere down the road, so I won't have to do that at least. But otherwise, again, thanks everybody for watching. As always, take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.